Hi and welcome to today's class. So this class today is all about your hips. It's called Happy Hips. So we're going to explore movement in the hip joint. So getting into all the directions to create a little bit more freedom, mobility and stability within your hips. So this is not about forcing flexibility at all. It's about moving with awareness, building strength and giving your hips the opportunity to move in the way that they were designed to. So I'm going to be using yoga blocks today. You can have one or two to hand, or if you don't have them, obviously you'll do everything without. So we're going to come to lay down on our backs. So laying down, soles of the feet on the floor, knees up towards the ceiling, just getting ourselves set up. Perhaps just tuck the chin into the chest slightly, lengthen out the back of the neck, and just notice those points of contact that your body is making with the ground. So we're going to start to move our hip just to get a little bit of this movement going before we lift into a low bridge. So I'm just going to place my hands on my lower ribs. I'm going to bring my right knee, up over my right hip. So there's a bend in my knee. And all we're going to do is get in some internal and external rotation. So the right foot will start to sweep out to the right. And then it's going to sweep over to the left and it will probably come just above the left knee. And then it will sweep back out. So the right knee is staying relatively still. Obviously there is going to be a bit of movement, but it's really the foot that is moving, the thigh that is rolling in and out, which is all happening at the hip joint. So you could take your fingers, your right fingers, right in your hip crease, and you will be able to feel that movement in the hip just a little bit more. So it's a sweep of the leg, right and left. So the foot is sweeping right and left. So you can stay here and just do this movement with your pelvis down on the ground, or you can push into the sole of the left foot, lengthen the tailbone slightly to the heels and lift into a low bridge. Then start taking your foot left and right, again relatively still with that knee, rolling the thigh in and out. So when we roll the thigh inwards and the foot sweeps out, that's internal rotation, and when the thigh rolls outwards and the foot comes over the other knee, it's external rotation. So getting that movement going. If you are in the bridge, this left glute is going to work super hard. Try not to let the right side of the hip dip down. Try and keep your pelvis level. If it's too much, then lower down to the ground. So we are going to be playing around with this internal and external rotation of the hips during class today. So nice and steady with your ribs as well. So you shouldn't be thrusting those ribs up towards the ceiling. Take one more. And then lower that right foot down and lower your hips down. Then bring the left knee up over the left hip. You can place your right hand on your front ribs, the left hand, if you would like, the fingers go into that hip crease. Okay, so from here, the left foot will sweep out to the left, and then it will come to the right. So sweeping it left to right. Notice how this side feels in comparison to your other side. It might feel a little bit tighter, a little bit more restricted, or it might feel better. So trying to keep that knee relatively still. That movement is coming from the hip, even though it looks as though it's coming from the foot. And then stay here, or if you would like to, push into your right foot, lift into that low bridge and get that internal and external rotation going there as well. So firing up this right glute. We always want to make sure our glutes are working well. They do help. They help to extend and open the hip at the front. One of their main jobs. Just take a couple more there. And then back to centre, lower the foot down, lower the pelvis down, bring your knees into your chest and have a little hug and a rock from side to side. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is a bit of external rotation for the hips. So bring the feet down, bring the feet together. And then you're going to start to part the knees. So you'll roll to the outer edges of your feet, but the inner feet stay together. You're going to create like a little V. So we don't want to completely let go and release the legs down. We want to hold those legs in just a small degree of external rotation. Hands on those front ribs, chin tucked into the chest slightly. Just lengthen the tailbone a little bit, push into the outer edges of the feet and lift into your low bridge. And then from there, you're just going to lower a little bit and lift. So a little bit of a pulse. So holding your hip joint in external rotation, but we're trying to maintain that centration of the hip in the hip joint. So we're not completely just flopping into our joints. We're trying to create strength. So we're building that strength. We're building that structure that we want so that we've got nice and strong hips. All of these things have an effect on the rest of the body. Hips especially, mostly at the center of our body. So lifting and lowering, outer glutes are working. And I want you to stay up if you can. Take the hands up towards the ceiling like you're holding a tray and just take a little look at your nails. Pull back on your left fingers with your right hand. Heel of the hand up towards the ceiling and the thumb out to the side. Take a nice deep breath in and out. And then switch. So pull back on those right fingers. Extend and open through the wrist. We are going to be doing some weight bearing on our hands, so just getting ready for that weight. And then release. Place the hands by the sides. Just land your feet so that they're parallel. The full foot is on the floor, and then lower down nice and slowly. Okay, so we're going to grab our block now. If you're using one, I'm going to place it the medium way in between my thighs, and then I'm going to lift my feet up towards the ceiling. So you want the block relatively close to your pelvis, so you don't want it between your knees. You want it in the flesh of your thighs. We're going to play around with some internal and external rotation here. So interlace the hands behind the head, elbows up towards the ceiling so you're cupping your skull. Just make sure that your sacrum feels heavy down on the ground and take an inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to start to curl up. So pull those front ribs down as you lift your head. Have a little squeeze of that block and then inhale as you lower. Exhale, curling up, and then from there you're going to roll the thighs out so the toes roll out, and then roll the thighs in so the toes roll in. So you'll be able to see as your legs roll in and out. Just take a couple as you stay lifted, and then inhale as you lower. Exhale as you curl up. So just roll the thighs out and in. So you're still keeping hold of that block, so you don't want to lose your block. Shoulders up, off of the floor if you can. Back to center, inhale as you lower. We're going to do two more. Exhale, curling up. Just roll the thighs in and out. So feeling that in your hip joint. Back to center, inhale, lower. Last one, exhale, curling up, pull down in the core, roll those thighs in and out. Moving them in all directions. Back to center. Inhale as you lower. Get rid of that rock. Bring your knees into your chest. Have a little hug and a rock from side to side. And then from there, you're going to roll over to one side or going to rock yourself all the way up and over onto all fours. From here, we're going to come into a downward facing dog, a three-legged down dog. We're going to play around with that internal and external rotation again. So tucking your toes, pike your hips up, take a small shift back, pushing through your hands, lifting the armpits up, soft bend in those knees, okay, and my heels are lifted, lifting my tailbone up towards the ceiling. Left leg is going to lift, you're going to bend the knee, you're going to start to open the hip, and then from there, that left knee is going to come behind the right. It's like you're crossing your legs, and then open and close. So we're going back into this external rotation as we open, internal rotation as we try and cross the thighs. So the chest, whilst you're doing this, is staying parallel to the floor, so you're not turning in your chest, you're not turning in your rib cage. Everything's working, staying super steady. We are going to be doing this in the flow. I just want you to have a chance at doing it and exploring that movement. Place the left foot down, the right leg will lift. Bend the knee, open the hip, and then right knee behind the left, cross, and then open. So you cross and open. So really, we are mobilising and working that right side, but the left side here is working super hard as well to stabilise whilst this right side moves. Take 2 more. Land the foot down and then walk to the front of the mat. Push down and rise up. We're going to do one round of sun salutations. So use blocks if you would like. I'm not going to for this. Inhale those arms forwards and up. Folding down, bend the knees, land the hands, step your right foot back. Lower the knee under the hip, point your toes, sweep your arms forwards and up. So reach those fingertips up, have a little squeeze of that right glute. Hands come down, slide the left foot back, the right foot back. Lower the knees towards your feet, lower down slowly, so bend the elbows. Inhale, lift the chest, and exhale, push back through your knees, tuck your toes, lift into your down dog, walk your feet in just a little bit. Completely up to you. You can step your right foot forward or lower the knees. Step the right foot forward, the left knee is down and you point the left toes. In your 90-90, really thinking about stacking the shoulders over the rib cage over the pelvis. Hands come down, tuck your back toes and step to the front. Push down and rise up. One more round. Folding down, bend the knees, land the hands, left foot steps back. Lower the knee, keep the toes tucked if you can. Sweep those arms forwards and up. Have a little push through that left big toe. Get that left glute working. Open the front of the left hip. Hands down. Come into your plank, so the right foot, left foot back. Lower the knees. Keep the back of the head lifted, lower down. Inhale, lift the head. Draw those hands back and then exhale, push back through your knees, tuck your toes, lift into your down dog, walk your feet in a little bit. So from here, you can step the left foot forward or lower the knees, step your left foot forward. The right knee is down, the right toes are tucked, and you sweep your arms forwards and up. Just pause there, really grow that spine nice and long. Hands come down and step to the front. Push down and rise up. Hands come to heart center. So from here, we're going to move through one sequence, getting into those hips and making them feel happy. So inhale those arms forwards and up. Folding down, bend the knees, land the hands. Right foot steps back. Lower the knee, keep the toes tucked if you can. Bring your torso up. The left foot now is going to step out to the left. So if I face you, it would be like this. We call this a grounded warrior variation. So from here, your hands are going to come onto your hips. All we're going to do is hinge forwards. So hinging, so the chest will come forwards, the bum goes back slightly, and then use that glute to help lift you back up. So hinging down, the spine is nice and long, and push to come back up. I sometimes like to take my hands into my hip creases, and I can really guide my hips back by pushing with my hands. That makes my glutes go back and then come straight back up. We really don't want this movement coming from the lower back. We want the glutes doing the work. We're also getting a nice stretch for that left inner thigh as that foot is turned out to the side. Last time. Hands come down, three-legged down dog. So the left leg will go up and back. Bend that left knee. We've just done this one. Open the hip and then the left knee behind the right. Cross, open and cross. So this move really helps mobilize the outside of the hip. Great for a lot of people. Great if you are like me, of a certain age, perhaps perimenopausal, because we can really hold a lot of tightness in our hips. So always nice to mobilise there. Last one. And then from there, that left knee is going to come in between your hands. You're going to land the left hip and then land the right knee down. So you're in like a ballet sit. So it's a zigzag. Your right knee, your right thigh is internally rotated. Your left is externally rotated. Hands are going to come behind you. Okay, and from there, we're going to lift the legs up and over to the right. And then up and over to the left. So this is our time just to mobilise the hips. As we do this, you will notice one side of my glute comes up and then the other side does. My hands are as far back as I want them to be. This is just about the hip movement, getting that internal and external rotation. Trying to get a little bit more freedom in the hips. Last one. The next time your feet knees come over to the left, that back leg, your right leg now, is going to step to the front. You're going to push into that right foot to open to the left, parallel your feet to the short edges of the mat. Hands are going to be on the hips. You're going to lift your toes, turn the toes out, the heels are in, and then have a bend in those knees. So we're coming into a goddess position. And all I want you to do is pulse. So we're just pulsing up and down, getting some energy in our legs, getting some heat in our legs. Get that strength going and using the pelvic floor as well as we pulse up and down. So taking a few more there, pushing through the fullness of your foot, that sort of tripod of your foot. Last one. Straighten the knees, turn to the front, land your hands on the inside of that right foot and land your left knee. Heel toe your foot out to the side of the mat. I'm going to grab my blocks now. I'm going to lift my right toes and I'm going to turn my toes out. So you've got this external rotation of the leg. I'm going to now just sneak my left knee, back a little bit. So I'm just opening the front of that hip. Spine is nice and long. You can always untuck your toes if you want to stay in this position. Take a few breaths in and out. If you would like to add a twist, we're going to reach that right arm forwards, take it up and over. So you turn your chest, you can stay here or you can lift that back leg, perhaps get hold of the foot and have a bit of a quad stretch. I'm really pushing down with this left hand. I've rolled over the front of my kneecap, so I'm not fully on my knee on the left. You do not need to take this if it feels too restrictive or it doesn't work for you. You can stay in one of the other options. Take an inhale and exhale. If you've got that foot, slowly release it. Hands come back. Blocks or the floor for your hands. Bring that right foot in. Sneak your hands forward to the front of the mat. Lift your back knee and you're going to step that left foot to meet the right. So we're in a forward fold. Got a nice bend in my knees. I'm sitting my bum back, nice long spine. You're going to lift your toes, turn the toes out. Then lift the toes, bring them back to neutral. So you're just lifting the toes and turning and then back. So you're just pivoting on your heels. So you should feel this again up into the hip. Lift the core up. So we're not completely sinking. The tailbone is lengthening towards the back of the mat. I'm not letting my lower belly just completely let go. And then bring those feet back to neutral. I'm going to push to rise up. I'm going to grab my block with me. I'm going to place my block at the sternum. Bring my feet slightly more together. Take the right leg out to the right. And then weight shift over to the left. So all you're doing is letting that leg go out to the side and back. I'll face you so you can see it's not a big lift of the leg, okay? The toes are still facing forwards. Again, we're just trying to get into the hip. We're not trying to really engage the obliques, the side of the body. We are just doing the hip. Take one more each side. And then place that block down. Come to the front. We're going to do all of that again. So inhale those arms forwards and up. Folding down, bend the knees, land the hands, left foot steps back. Lower that left knee, keep the toes tucked, bring your torso up. You're going to step your right foot out to the right, so you're in your grounded warrior. Hands come onto the hips. Take that hinge. So sit the bum back, the chest comes forwards. Push to rise up. Use that glute. Hinge and up. Obviously, if you need to pad your knee, then please feel free to do that. Trying to stay nice and lifted though off that knee. So imagine you've got like a sock that you're trying to pull up on that thigh, so you're just trying to make it feel slightly lighter. Feel that nice openness in that inner thigh on the right. Take one more. Land the hands down. You're going to lift this left knee to sweep the right leg up. Three-legged down dog. Bend that right knee. Open the hip. Cross that right knee behind the left. Take that little cross of the legs. Open and close. So really push through your hands as you're doing it. We've done this a few times now, so hopefully it's kind of in your brain. Your brain's got used to this movement a little bit. Your head is just relaxing. Left leg working super hard. Last one. And then bring that right knee, land it in between the hands, land your right hip and the left. Hands come behind you. You bring your knees up and over to the left and then back up and over to the right. So you're seeing it from the back now. So I'm leaning back onto my hands and just letting my legs go from side to side. You might notice that you kind of crawl off your mat maybe. Don't worry about it too much. You might move, that's perfectly fine. So if we get more mobile in our hips, that really helps our lower back and it helps our knees. And let the knees fall to the right. You'll step your left foot to the front. Push into that left foot, turn to the right to come to stand. These big movements that our hips are designed to do. So in a straddle, outside of the feet to the short edges of the mat. Hands on the hips, lift the toes, turn the toes out, bend those knees, sit your bum down and pulse. So we're just getting our goddess pulses, holding our legs again in a degree of external rotation, like we did right at the beginning when we were on our back and we just had that little V and we're pushing into the outer edges of the foot. Keep going there, just creating all of this strength, remembering you're just giving your hips that opportunity and that chance to move well and to feel well and then have that rippling effect around the rest of the body. And rise up, straighten the knees, turn the feet to the front. Hands land on the inside of the left foot, land the right knee, heel toe the left foot out to the left. I'm going to grab my blocks. Lift your left toes, turn the toes out, and then scoot that right knee back just a little bit. You can stay here, the top of the foot can be down. This is like a lizard position, nice long spine. If you would like to, you can reach your left arm forwards, start to turn and open to the left, and then reach that left arm back. You can hold here, or you can lift that back foot, take hold of the front of the foot, Have a big quad stretch, pushing through that right hand, not letting the shoulder drop forwards. Draw that shoulder blade back and down your body. Nice chest opener as well. Release your ear to your shoulder perhaps. Breathe in and out. And then nice and carefully release that back foot. Bring those left toes in. Place your hands or your blocks a little bit further to the front. You're going to lift that back knee, step that right foot to meet the left. So we're in our sort of squat position. You're going to lift the toes, turn the toes out, lift the toes, turn the toes back. Okay, so just pivoting on those heels. Again, getting into that external rotation, perhaps feel that really ripple all the way up into the hip joint. Slight lift of the core, so we're not dipping in our lower back, lengthening the tailbone towards the back of the mat. Last time. Feet together, grab your block, push down to rise up. Place your block, if you're using it, on your sternum. Just palm around the front of the block. Take the weight into the right foot, the left leg comes out, left foot down, right leg out. So just taking the leg out to the side, not worrying about height. There's a small weight shift. Just perhaps notice how it feels now. A little bit of balance work as well as we move our hip in abduction from side to side. Last time. And then place that block down if you were using it and come on to your back. So coming to lay down, coming at the end of the class, just coming back to this nice supine position. Take your feet a little bit wider, just let your knees knock together. Again, we're now rolling into internal rotation, so you can feel your thighs rolling inwards. Take your hands perhaps either on your front ribs, or your arms can come out into a nice little low V. Palms facing up, just externally rotating those shoulders. Feeling nice and broad through the back of the pelvis. Just take a couple of rounds of breath here. Noticing and observing how you're feeling. Perhaps just take your attention to your hips, to the muscles, any sensations that you might be feeling within that area now that you have moved them a little bit. I do hope that they're feeling slightly happier, maybe less restricted, and have a little bit more freedom in them. Just knowing that we do tend to hold quite a lot of tension. Some people believe we hold emotional stress within our hips, and regardless of whether you believe that or not, what I do know is that when we move our hips, we tend to feel better, we tend to feel lighter, we tend to feel brighter, and a bit more at ease. Thank you so much for practicing with me today, and I do hope you go off into the rest of your day or your evening again with a better step, feeling more mobile, feeling more strong and more at ease. From my heart to yours. Namaste.